Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Matt, welcome to Roads of Oz, and on this episode we're going to look deeper into the Sena 50R. So from the last video you saw me struggle setting up the app on the phone. I was able to work through it and it no longer freezes and it still keeps reverting back to the 50S, but I think that will change once I do this next item. And that's setting up the charger and also making sure the latest firmware update's been installed. All right, so apparently got to set this up, pair it up with your Wi-Fi. So let's do that. So I can do this through the phone. I don't know if you can see it that well. Go into the settings. It's going to be a bit wobbly. So we go to Wi-Fi adapter. All right, connect your device. Connect the Wi-Fi adapter to the USB charger. Red, yep, done. All right, so got a paper clip. All right, so back in the editing department, and I realized I didn't do a good enough job. I didn't show you how to pair this charger with wireless capability up. So we're going to call this Gen X Boomer Edition. The instructions on the app aren't the clearest, so we're going to have a look at how it's actually done. All right, so I'm going to do everything on the table here. So you see it's plugged in there and you've got a blue light flashing. What you need to do is, it says press the switch, and you won't find a switch on it, but you'll find on the back of this little hole here, and you press that for 1 second and you should see a purple light come on. And when you see it like that, I think it's like that, it's purple light, it's ready to pair. So then it will come up on the phone app, it'll come up on the Sena app on your phone that it's paired, and then you can actually plug it into then you just keep following the instructions and it will take you through nicely till you can connect up with your home Wi-Fi. But that was the only confusing part, was press this button, and no button, it's a little, they're those dreaded little reset buttons we used to see on clocks to reset, wipe everything and just start from scratch. But yeah, just do that. And we're connected. All right, next, auto firmware update. So it's just like setting up a Wi-Fi. It's just establishing a Wi-Fi connection, same as you would on any computer or mobile device. All right, so the setup's now completed. So the charger is now connected to the home Wi-Fi system, and it's time to update. So we'll plug you in. Do not disconnect. Okay. All right, so all the instructions here, very clear on the app. So just updating the firmware. I like having the latest firmware. There are pros and cons to that, as you have seen on anything that has firmware updates. Anyway, so it's just updating, so we're gonna let it update. The charge isn't too bad. I'll let it charge. I'm heading out on the road because one of my mates also has one of these, and we actually want to test the range. We're going to go through a whole heap of tests with it and just overall how it goes. Yeah, so I'm very excited about this and looking forward to seeing how this goes. Anyway, I'll see you out on the road. So after about a 200k round trip, we used about 35 to 40% of the Sena 50R's power, but we're constantly using the mesh system. So that's about what we're expecting. When it comes to the mesh intercom system, Sena's floating about 1.6 kilometers. No, definitely not. That might, and I know there's a caveat there, it says in wide open spaces, but I consider a wide open space to be a motorway, a freeway, and that just wasn't the case. At about 500 to 600 meters, you start to get interference, and once you went past that 600, you're lucky to hear them at all. And there are so many other interruptions out there on the road. You've got cars that all have got Bluetooth items, and I don't know if that affects it, but having more frequencies being utilized has definitely got to have some impact. I'm not doubting that you can get the 1.6 kilometer range, but you definitely would need to be on one of those wide, like those long straight American roads where you've got a definite line of sight that you can actually see the other person. The moment we're going around bends, it would hold for a bit, but once you got past that 500 meter mark, you know, once you got past 300 meters, as soon as you went out of the line of sight, it did start to fall apart. Now, is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I think when you've got the multiple users, you can definitely achieve that 5 mile distance from one end user to the other end user. But just with the two of yous, So in Australian conditions, stick to within 500 meters of each other, and I don't think you're going to have a problem at all. The sound was fantastic. The volume did seem to adjust for highway levels and additional noise, same, and that was a big plus. My old Cocoon headset, you could barely hear anything. That was the noise turned up full. The Sena, I didn't have it anywhere near full, and the sound was was perfect. What I did notice, the phone call, you got to preset everything, so I didn't preset the phone call, so the phone call that come through was a lot louder than the mesh. I had the volume set perfectly for the mesh intercom, but didn't set it for the phone, so it come across a bit louder, so just be aware. Another feature I absolutely loved of that, voice activation. As soon as the call come through and you said answer, it cut across beautifully and was crisp and clear and had an excellent connection with the phone. We did briefly try the Bluetooth connection, but we're happy to just use the mesh as it got the better distance. So do I think it was a worthwhile investment? Absolutely. And I know a lot of people said, oh, I don't really want to be talking with others, but I tell you what, on a boring highway run, they were great. Just to have a conversation, it broke up the trip really well. And before we knew it, we were in the Blue Mountains, at the base of the Blue Mountains. And there's nothing more boring than motorway travel. Or maybe there is, stuck in traffic. But no, very happy with that. So happy with it overall, and looking forward to testing it out once our restrictions go one step further and we're allowed to travel out to the bush. I'd like to be out on the highway and actually see what distance we get using the mesh system there. I'm expecting a few hundred meters. I'm not expecting the 1.6 kilometers. I just don't think it will achieve that, but that's just my opinion. Overall, yep, very happy with it. The connection with the phone, the moment I said, hey Siri, it was awake and asking what I wanted, which was great. And it also suffers the usual things when you're talking and certain words sound similar to hey Siri. We've all had that. But even when I said hey Siri, it responded really well, so I was happy with that. And that's pretty much it. I've got it back on charge now, so I'll be fully charged. I will be using it a lot through the week because I'm quite impressed with it, and writing to it from work, it'd be nice to have some tunes, listen to some podcasts, and I'm going to look a bit deeper into using the app next. Anyway, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much for watching. If you found the video interesting, like, share, and if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next vid.